for us all to truly thrive. And fortunately, we have the roadmap to make this happen. In November last year, the Australian Human Rights Commission released the National Anti-Racism Framework after extensive consultations with communities across Australia. The framework is the first of its kind, a roadmap to eliminating racism in Australia. It contains 63 recommendations for a whole-of-society approach, with proposed reforms across our legal, justice, health, education, media and arts sectors, as well as workplaces and data collection. The framework recognises that racism goes beyond individual actions. It's embedded in the systems and institutions that shape our lives. It also emphasises the need for building racial literacy, embedding cultural safety, truth-telling about the past and ongoing harms of colonisation, and most importantly, community-led solutions. The framework comes at a crucial time. Since I began as Race Discrimination Commissioner last year, I've said it often, these are febrile times. The war in Gaza has triggered a terrifying surge of anti-Semitism, anti-Palestinian racism, anti-Arab racism and Islamophobic hate. Mentioning those different forms of racism doesn't mean equating them. Mentioning one doesn't invalidate another. Each experience of racism is unique to the target, but the fact remains more people are being harmed in these ways than before. And some government approaches pit communities against each other rather than fostering shared solutions. Other approaches suggest we don't even have to consider events overseas. But consultations we've held with Jewish, Palestinian, Arab and Muslim Australian communities as part of the Seen and Heard project say otherwise. Seen and Heard is a federally funded project to address the increased racism experienced by these communities since 7 October 2023. We found the claim that communities here are untouched by trauma overseas is both artificial and insensitive. Across all communities we consulted, one theme stood out: the experience and impact of dehumanisation. That is, they have been made to feel lesser than human, lesser than others around them. When the massacre of 1,200 Jews and Israelis by Hamas on October 7 is not acknowledged, it dehumanises them, and by extension, Jewish and Israeli Australians. When the devastation caused by Israel in Gaza, the death of 60,000 civilians, mass starvation, the destruction of homes is ignored, it dehumanises Palestinians, and by extension, the Palestinian, Arab and Muslim Australians who identify with them. Failing to recognise suffering wherever it occurs strips people of their humanity, and that dehumanisation is felt deeply by communities here. And to ignore other global conflicts also dehumanises people affected here. Take Sudan, for example. Since conflict broke out in April 2023, over 12 million Sudanese have been forcibly displaced, the largest displacement crisis in the world. Yet it barely registers in our media, barely registers in our national consciousness. Many communities I haven't even mentioned today know the feeling that their lives, their suffering, matters less. This is where the role of the media is so important. Media organisations play a vital role in our democracy by shaping public understanding and shining a light on injustice.